Your emotion got stuck at this point, and it's blocking your ability to fully exist. There's a weight in the center of your chest that doesn't show up in any medical exam, but you feel it every single day. It's like something is hanging there, stuck, as if your breath never quite finishes the cycle it's supposed to. As if an invisible ceiling is stopping the air from reaching its natural destination. This is the fourth somatic knot of trauma, an ancestral lock sealed in your diaphragm that keeps your life in a permanent state of suspension. It's not just about breathing, it's about your ability to expand, to feel pleasure, to fully occupy the space that belongs to you. This knot vibrates like a containment code you inherited, passed down through generations who learned that expanding fully was dangerous. But there is an ancient vibrational ritual that can dissolve this lock effortlessly, simply with conscious presence and a specific gesture that communicates safety to the muscle that has forgotten how to relax. This process is not symbolic. It works on a physiological, emotional, and vibrational level, releasing layers of tension that have lived between your breath and your soul for decades. Get ready to discover how to unlock what's been keeping your existence on hold. What you've just recognized has a hidden name: suspended breath. There is a secret map within the human body where experiences of suppression, silencing, and forced containment crystallize in specific points, creating vibrational locks that can stay active for decades without you ever noticing. The fourth knot lives in the diaphragm, the most emotionally sensitive muscle in the body, the one that decides in milliseconds whether it's safe to expand or necessary to hold back. This is not a blockage you created on your own. It's an ancestral inheritance etched into the fabric of your being, generations of emotional suppression, inherited fears, and silencing traumas stored as protective codes that turned into prisons. Your diaphragm holds the memory of every moment someone in your lineage had to swallow their voice, shrink their presence, suspend their life in order to survive. The masters of ritual breath knew the diaphragm was the point where the soul touched the physical body through the air. They developed specific protocols to dissolve these ancestral locks, understanding that freeing this muscle meant freeing not only the breath, but the entire capacity to manifest in the world. By the end of this process, you'll experience something you may not have felt in years. The sensation that you can finally occupy all the inner space that is yours. Your voice will gain natural presence, your ability to feel pleasure will expand, and for the first time you'll discover what it's like to breathe without inherited limits, what it's like to exist without your soul suspended between two lungs. In the hidden temples of ancient Egypt, where only high-level initiates had access, there was a deep understanding that was never written in public hieroglyphs. The priests of Thoth knew that the diaphragm functioned as a dimensional gate, the only muscle in the body, capable of directly connecting the physical world to the spiritual world through the conscious movement of air. They discovered that when this gate closed due to trauma, the soul would literally become trapped in the body. In the most secret Hermetic texts, the diaphragm was referred to as the veil of Isis, the membrane separating the known from the unknown, the manifest from the unmanifest. When free, it allowed life force to flow between worlds. When contracted, it created a limbo where a person existed without fully living, breathed without expanding, and spoke without resonating their truth. The Taoist masters developed an even deeper understanding. They mapped how extreme suppression could seal the diaphragm into containment patterns passed down through generations. They discovered that certain lineages carried what they called the breath of the silenced, a pattern where air never reached its full potential because the muscle remembered times when expanding fully meant danger. The essential teaching was revolutionary. The diaphragm did not respond only to physical commands. but to energetic communication. When someone was able to establish a conscious dialogue with this muscle, letting it know that the ancestral dangers had passed, it would instantly regain its full capacity for movement. Stephen Porges revolutionized our understanding of breathing when he discovered that the diaphragm has direct neural connections with the vagal complex, the network that controls our response to safety and threat. His research revealed that when the nervous system detects danger, the diaphragm is the first muscle to contract, creating a state of defensive breathing that can become permanent if the trauma is not processed. Peter Levine, through somatic experiencing, revealed something even more surprising. The diaphragm can enter a state of vibrational freeze, a condition where the muscle holds a subtle but constant contraction, as if it were perpetually bracing for a threat that never arrives. This state creates what he called incomplete breath. You inhale, but something prevents full expansion. Respiratory neuroscience at Stanford confirmed that breathing patterns not only reflect emotional states, they actively create them. When the diaphragm is chronically contracted, it sends constant signals to the brain that something is wrong, keeping the person in a state of subtle but ongoing alert. Epigenetics brought the most remarkable discovery. Respiratory traumas can alter gene expression related to diaphragm development, creating descendants who are born with a tendency towards shallow breathing. Researchers found specific markers in families who experienced extreme oppression, where patterns of silent breathing were passed down as cellular survival strategies. These findings confirm that the diaphragm is far more than a respiratory muscle. It is an emotional memory organ that responds to conscious communication when it receives the right signals of safety. The release of the diaphragmatic knot happens through 3 unlocking gateways, each one accessing a specific layer of ancestral containment. This is not a process of force or physical manipulation. It is an energetic dialogue between your awareness and the muscle that forgot how to be free. The first gateway is called the tactile, recognition of the emotional lock. Lie down comfortably and place both hands at the base of your ribs, where the diaphragm connects to the chest. Don't press, simply rest your palms on that area, as if you were greeting an old friend you haven't seen in a long time. Breathe naturally and bring your attention to the sensation under your hands. You're not looking for physical pain, you're locating emotional density, an area that feels heavier or less mobile than the rest. The key lies in the quality of the touch. Your hands are not just flesh touching flesh, they are portals of conscious communication. When you hold this contact for a few minutes, the diaphragm begins to respond, revealing exactly where the containment is lodged. It might feel like an internal knot, an area that gently resists movement, or simply a region that seems asleep compared to the rest of your body. While you maintain the touch, ask silently, "What are you holding here?" Don't force an answer. Allow the sensation to reveal itself naturally. Often memories, emotions, or simply a clear understanding of what needs to be released will emerge spontaneously. The conscious recognition of the lock already initiates the process of dissolution, because you are letting the muscle know that someone is finally paying attention to what it's been trying to communicate for so long. The second gateway is the breath of energetic communication, an ancient technique that teaches the diaphragm how to distinguish between protective containment and safe expansion. Keep your hands in place and begin breathing in a completely different way, not to fill your lungs, but to create a dialogue with the muscle beneath your palms. Inhale gently until you reach the first point of resistance, that moment when the air wants to keep going, but something inside says, "Stop here." Don't push past it. Instead, stay right at that edge and communicate energetically. It's safe to go beyond. There is no more danger. Remain in this conscious pause for a few seconds, as if you were giving your diaphragm time to process this new information. Now comes the most important part. The exhale should not push the air out, it should release it. Imagine that you're letting go, not only of the air, but also of the ancestral tension stored in that spot. Exhale as if you were undoing a very old lock, allowing the muscle to reorganize itself into a more free and open position. Repeat this specific cycle. Inhale to the point of resistance. Pause to communicate. Release as you exhale. Each cycle doesn't just move air, it reprograms the muscle's memory. The diaphragm begins to remember what it was like before containment settled in. You may feel small internal tremors, involuntary sighs, or waves of warmth, all signs that old protective layers are starting to dissolve. Continue for a few minutes, keeping your intention clear. Each breath is a message of safety sent directly to the core of your ancestral containment. The third gateway is the integration and sealing of the new pattern. The moment when you anchor your newly discovered diaphragmatic freedom into your nervous system permanently. Keep your hands in place and prepare for the moment of total release, unmistakable when it happens. The diaphragmatic knot dissolves with a unique sensation. First, an internal collapse, as if a ceiling you didn't even know was there, suddenly crumbled inside your chest. This is immediately followed by a natural expansion that requires no effort on your part. It's as if the diaphragm instantly remembers how to move free from ancestral limitations. To seal this new configuration, take 3 anchoring breaths. On the first, inhale as far as you can without encountering any resistance. You'll be surprised by the depth that's now possible. On the second, exhale completely, allowing the diaphragm to experience total relaxation. On the third, breathe normally, but notice how the quality of the air has changed. There is a smoothness and natural flow that wasn't there before. Finish by placing one hand on your heart and the other on your diaphragm, creating an energetic bridge between these two centers. Silently declare, "My breath is free, my expansion is safe, my presence is whole." This affirmation programs your nervous system to maintain the new pattern even when you're no longer consciously paying attention. What you've just experienced is a return to your original breathing rhythm, the one that existed before the codes of containment were installed. Your voice will gain natural presence, your ability to feel pleasure will expand, and you'll discover that you can finally occupy all the inner space that has always been yours. Beatrice carried a tightness in her chest that no doctor could explain. She could breathe, but always with the feeling that something got stuck halfway. Her voice came out soft, even when she wanted to speak loudly, and fully relaxing felt physically impossible. It was as if there were an invisible boundary she could never cross. During family therapy, she uncovered something deeply unsettling. Her grandmother had been forced into silence for years in an abusive marriage, where expressing any emotion or need brought severe consequences. Her mother grew up witnessing that constant containment and unknowingly inherited the same pattern. Beatrice carried in her diaphragm the memory of 3 generations of women who had learned that expanding fully was dangerous. When she applied the 3 gateway protocol, something extraordinary happened. In the moment of energetic communication with her diaphragm, she physically felt the tension dissolve, as if invisible ropes that had bound her chest for decades were finally coming loose. The breath that followed was unlike anything she had ever experienced. Deep, free, and without any internal resistance. Months later, people close to her noticed a profound transformation. Beatrice spoke with a presence she had never shown before. She laughed more fully, took up space naturally, and for the first time in her life, could fully relax without feeling dangerously exposed. She had broken a generational cycle of containment and had finally discovered what it felt like to breathe without carrying the ancestral fear of other women. The greatest obstacle in this process is not technical. It's the primal fear that releasing the diaphragmatic containment might flood you with emotions or memories that were being protected by suspended breath. Your mind interprets the unblocking as a loss of emotional control, when in fact, it's exactly the opposite. Here lies the essential transmutation. Diaphragmatic containment isn't protecting you from feeling too much, it's preventing you from processing efficiently. When the diaphragm is free, you actually gain greater emotional regulation, not less. Full breath allows feelings to move through you, instead of building up as internal pressure. The practical solution is to begin gradually. Apply the 3 gateway protocol for just 3 to 5 minutes at first, allowing your nervous system to adjust to this new capacity for expansion. If emotions come up during the process, don't see them as a problem. See them as necessary releases of material that's been compressed for a very long time. Remember, you're not losing control, you're reclaiming real control. What was once forced containment now becomes conscious regulation. A released diaphragm is not an out-of-control muscle. It's a muscle that can finally respond appropriately to real situations, instead of reacting to imagined threats programmed in the past. True safety doesn't come from restriction, but from the full ability to breathe through whatever life brings. What you discovered today goes far beyond a breathing technique. You accessed an ancestral code with the power to interrupt generational cycles of emotional containment and return to your body the ability to exist without inherited limits. Every time you apply the 3 gateways, tactile recognition, energetic communication, and anchoring of the new pattern, you are not only freeing your own diaphragm, but dissolving layers of suppression that were passed down to you through time. The knot of suspended breath was never your enemy. It was a loyal guardian that protected you and your lineage from expanding at times when doing so might have been dangerous. But now that you hold the vibrational keys to communicate safety to this ancestral muscle, you can teach your system that the danger has passed, that it is safe to fully occupy the inner space that has always been yours. Rumi wrote something that deeply resonates with this transformation. You were born with wings. Why prefer to crawl through life? When you release the diaphragmatic lock, you are literally reclaiming your breathing wings, the ability to rise through the air, to expand through presence, to manifest through free breath. There is something profoundly sacred in recognizing that your breath was carrying codes that were never yours. And there is something even more sacred in discovering that, when you offer conscious presence to the muscle that forgot how to be free, your entire relationship with life transforms. You don't just breathe, you fully inhabit the miracle of being alive. The air that enters you now no longer meets ancestral resistance. Your emotion has been released from that point, and your ability to fully exist can finally blossom, free from limits that were never yours to carry. If this video resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. It helps us expand this field of ancestral knowledge to more people who are ready to awaken. I'd love to know how you're feeling the release happening in your diaphragm. Share in the comments. I break the cycle of containment and expand my capacity to fully exist. This affirmation directly activates the protocol you've just learned. Send this to someone you know who feels unexplained tightness in their chest and needs to discover they can breathe without inherited limits. And don't stop here. Click on the screen and dive into another powerful video on the channel. This is the 4th part of an initiatory journey through the 12 somatic knots, designed to release each place where trauma has taken root. Remember, where there was once an invisible ceiling blocking your expansion. There is now infinite space for your soul to breathe.